Hello everyone, tonight we dive into one of the most chilling tales of urban horror, a story that many claim is based on true events. A story that begins with something so ordinary yet descends into something so terrifying that it leaves scars on anyone who dares to listen. And this is the story of a young girl named 𝗪𝗂, a quiet student who always walked home alone after school, her path taking her through narrow lanes, past silent houses, and an abandoned stretch of road where the streetlights flickered weakly. It was in this lonely walk every evening that her story unfolded, one that her friends would later recall with trembling voices, saying she often spoke of feeling eyes watching her, shadows moving just beyond her sight, though no one ever believed her. They teased her that it was only her imagination, yet 𝗪𝗂 knew deep in her heart that something was wrong with that path, because each day as the sun dipped lower and the world grew quieter, she could hear the faint sound of footsteps matching her pace, sometimes slowing when she slowed, quickening when she quickened, and though she looked back countless times, she never saw anyone there, only the stillness of the road and the empty whisper of the wind, and so began her descent into a nightmare that would never let her go. For one fateful evening she left school later than usual, the sky already painted with shades of crimson and purple, and as she walked, she felt the air heavier than before, a strange silence in the world as if everything was holding its breath. She told herself not to panic, that she was safe, yet the footsteps returned, louder, closer, pressing against her nerves until her heartbeat roared in her ears. She turned around sharply, and for the first time she thought she saw it. A tall, shadowy figure standing far behind, its form indistinct yet solid enough to send shivers down her spine. She froze, but in the blink of an eye, it was gone, as if it had never been there. Frightened beyond words, she ran, her shoes slapping against the ground, her bag bouncing on her back, and the footsteps chased her now, growing louder and louder until she thought the figure was right behind her, breathing down her neck. But when she reached the safety of her home and slammed the door shut, there was nothing, no shadow, no footsteps, only silence. But that night, as she tried to sleep, the tapping began at her window, soft at first, then more insistent, like fingers drumming on the glass. She pulled the curtains shut, telling herself it was just the wind, yet deep down she knew the figure had followed her. Days turned into weeks, and 𝗪𝗂 grew paler, her eyes hollow, her laughter gone. Her parents worried, but she said nothing, for who would believe her? Still she had to walk to school. Still she had to pass that road, and every day the shadow grew bolder, closer, sometimes standing at the corner of her eye, sometimes whispering her name in a voice colder than ice. She tried to ignore it, but the fear consumed her, until one night she dreamed of walking home, and the shadow reached out, its long arms stretching impossibly far, clawed fingers brushing her shoulder. She woke screaming, but the mark was still there, faint scratches across her skin, as if the dream had been real. She begged her parents to drive her to school, but they dismissed it as childish fear, saying the scratches must have been from something else. Yet the truth was clear to her. She was being hunted, and no one could save her, not her friends, not her family, because the shadow had chosen her, and it would not stop until it claimed her. Then came the final evening, a stormy night when she stayed late for a school project, rain pouring down in relentless sheets, thunder rolling through the sky. She clutched her books and hurried along the road, but the footsteps echoed even through the rain, heavy and deliberate, and when she turned, the figure stood closer than ever before, its body towering, its face a void of darkness. She screamed and ran, lightning flashing to reveal the thing gaining on her, stretching, reaching, until she stumbled and fell into the mud, gasping and crying. She looked up, and it was there, looming over her, its shape blotting out the storm, its hand reaching toward her face, and the last thing she heard was her own scream swallowed by the thunder. The next morning her parents found her school bag in the mud, her books scattered, but 𝗪𝗂 was gone, no trace of her ever found, only whispers of her scream carried by the wind on stormy nights. Some say if you walk that road alone, you will feel the footsteps too, and if you dare to turn, you might see the same shadow watching, waiting, ready to follow you home. A curse that began with 𝗪𝗂 and never ended, and so the story is told, a warning to anyone who dares to walk alone from school when the sun has set. For the shadow lingers there still, hungry, patient, waiting for the next soul to claim, and this was the story of walking alone from school, a horror that teaches us sometimes the most ordinary paths can hide the darkest secrets, and the scariest monsters are not the ones we see, but the ones that follow silently behind us, step by step, until it's too late. Thank you for watching Shdows Secrit. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more terrifying stories from the shadows.